Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 50 of my F1 2016 Toro Rosso career mode, guys. 50 episodes in. That's pretty crazy if you ask me, guys. I'd just like to thank everyone here before we get into this for always continuing to support and like these videos, guys. It really does mean a lot to me. But if you are new around here, guys, as well, don't forget to like, subscribe. Hoping, that we are incredibly close, or maybe we even surpassed 700 subscribers now, guys. So hoping, if we haven't surpassed 700, guys, please, help me get, that little bit closer, guys. And also, if we have already passed 700, then we know the next milestone is 750, guys. So, yeah, but 50 episodes into this career mode, guys, I never really thought I'd get that far into this series, I thought we'll get a couple of seasons done by the end, but, I didn't expect to be able to do this as many times as I have been able to, in this series. But here we are then today, guys, at the Brazilian Grand Prix, one of my favourite tracks on the F1 calendar, as you just saw there by the back of the Toro Rosso garage, how picturesque, the scenery is around this track. Obviously, it's nestled in the middle of the Sao Paulo city. You can see a few skyscrapers as you drive around the circuit, but obviously we start, as we always do, guys, in free practice, we'll obviously try and get the tuning set up right on the car, ready for this Grand Prix, and hope that we can, I'm liking to think, we might be able to take back P7 in the driver's standings from Valtteri Bottas, guys, at this Grand Prix. But moving on then into our first practice session of the day, and doing our track acclimatization lap. As you can see, it's absolutely perfect up to this point here, guys. And, these final couple of corners are very easy to do so. So, we should be able to get a fully purple score here today, guys. Not really too sure how many times that's happened overall in this series, but we absolutely obviously we smashed the purple objective there. And now moving on then into my qualifying simulation. I see we're miles up on that as well, guys. Is it going to be purple score though? Yes, it is. And there we go, a full 100 R&D points there in the first two stints. As we do a bit of a Kimi Räikkönen, getting lost there right at the very end of that lap. Just see. Then let's have a look then at the R&D points then from that session. Obviously, it'll be at least 100, and we should be, we're already over the 2,000 barrier here, guys. So it's gone very well so far. As you can see, 142, 156 points there. Takes the grand total up to 2,169. A pretty damn big number, guys. We've also got a new rival, and that will actually be Jenson Button from the McLaren Honda. Although, rather surprisingly, he's below me in the standings. So I was a bit, surprised that they decided to put him as my rival. But after a very good result last time out at the Mexican Grand Prix for McLaren Honda, obviously they'll be looking to try and close me down, as we've kind of got Button, myself and Bottas in the hunt for P7 overall in the standings. Moving on then into Q1 there, we actually set a lap on the medium tyres, and that was actually good enough to get us into Q2 there, guys. Nico Rosberg obviously went pole position, if you will, in that first session. My teammate Daniel Kvyat unfortunately does not make it through, and he was on a set of these soft tyres, as well as Valtteri Bottas down in P18, so that's very good for my 7th place overall in the standings, hopes and dreams, guys. But this weekend is quite big, up and down the field, Lewis Hamilton is looking like it's very strong that either he's going to win this world title today, or he could completely bottle it, as we can just see going through Q2 there. But yeah, as I was saying, guys, Lewis Hamilton's got a very close to over 25 point lead. I think he might even have a lead over 25 here. It's just about damage limitation, obviously. It's been a bit rusty over the last few races, considering he had sort of a 70 point lead leaving the European phase of the season. It was pretty much a given that he'd win the title, but I never really thought it would come this late down in the season. But as you can now see, moving on then into Q3 here, we're actually on our second stint on a set of the soft tyres, obviously, where we started on the medium tyres in Q1 here. That meant, we get a second chance in Q3, obviously, to go on another quicker lap. As you can see, we're not actually that much up on my personal best here. The top three teams kind of had a little bit of a gap to the rest of us, so I was kind of hoping, we could get into that little group, and we actually do. We go up into P6 there, guys, on that incredible lap from myself, if I obviously do say so myself. But by the end of the session there, guys, it was actually Max Verstappen was going to go straight back past us there, which is a bit, a bit of a pain in the arse. Cheers for that, Verstappen. Not actually by that much, though. So, we've got similar pace to the Red Bulls here. You see Lewis Hamilton in the best seat in the house, ready for what could be his 4th World Championship winning drive here, ahead of Nico Rosberg by 3/10 there. Very dominant qualifying based on standards in these last few Grand Prix. With Daniel Ricciardo, 3rd, Kimi Räikkönen 4th, Sebastian Vettel 5th, Max Verstappen 6th, myself 7th, Perez 8th, Hulkenberg 9th, and Jenson Button down in 10th place there. But obviously getting into Q3 is a fairly special feat for him, guys. But let's move on then into the Brazilian Grand Prix.
there's a will, well, there's a way. And nowhere has that fact been better demonstrated over the years than here at Interlagos. Remember Senna winning while fighting a gearbox that was jammed in 6th? 5 Drivers' Championship deciders in a row between 2005 and 2009. And of course, the passionate Brazilian fans packing the grandstands to capacity every year. And they're not about to stop now. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. 2 very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Junsao into one of the 2 DRS zones will be the key to any overtaking prospects today. With so much on the line here today, I can't help but shake the feeling that we're going to have a bit of pushing and shoving, Anthony Davidson, especially into turn 1 this afternoon.
Well, we do see a fair amount of that here at Interlagos, Crofty. It's a tricky braking zone, of course, as you're heading down the hill into the centre S, which always makes it easy to lock the inside front and run a bit wide. We've seen a number of occasions over the years with someone from the leading group taking a bit of a knock on the first lap and having to recover. That's one of the reasons we've had so many exciting championship fights here. Hopefully, though, it'll be a clean start, of course, but as you say, I wouldn't be too surprised if it's not.
Better grip position than they were expecting. Let's see if we can hold on to it.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Nico Rosberg completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Raikkonen, Sebastian Vettel and Verstappen, a Toro Rosso, Perez, Hülkenberg and Jenson Button, Alonso, Massa, Esteban Gutierrez and Ericsson, Grosjean, Nasser, Daniel Kvyat and Valtteri Bottas, Magnussen and Harry Anto, Pascal Wehrlein and Jolyon Palmer rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So here we are then, guys, lined up on the grid, ready for the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's actually going to be a race from the softs to the hards. I'm not going to try and risk it like I did at Japan, obviously, because we had that little glitch in the game where it decided, you know, I was going to have to make a 2-stop Grand Prix, which is obviously not what we want to see again. But P7, you know, a very, very strong position for myself, you know, kind of proving to Bottas that we deserve this 7th place overall on the championship. Obviously, you got to remember, guys, we did the first few races in a Sauber, obviously, way back at the start of the season now. But 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights for the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. And Max Verstappen off to an incredibly good start there. Already trying to get between the Ferraris just ahead of him. We're just going to try and keep it clean. Have a look around the outside into turn 1 there. This is the Ferraris not going side by side. We're going to have the inside on Max Verstappen through turn 2. The Ferraris force each other wide. We're going to be able to go right round the outside of him there. Making a move right round the outside of both Ferraris there. Through the centre S there. An absolutely incredible move. You know, we just saw them get caught up on each other and just went down around the outside there. Kimi Raikkonen has a look up my inside into the next corner, but he managed to hold it once again around his outside there and ran his outside through the flat out turn 5 there. And up into P4 now we do go in this Grand Prix. Daniel Ricciardo trying to stick with the Mercedes very early on in this race. You can see they've already got well over a second gap to myself up in P4, but an absolutely incredible move around the outside there at the start of this Brazilian Grand Prix. But now looking towards the end of lap 1 here with the slipstream on Daniel Ricciardo, we're going to have a look up the inside into turn 1. Yes, we do make the position stick there, and over to P3 now. We're going right behind both Mercedes. You can see most of the actually opted to run on a set of the medium tyres here in this first stint, but obviously if we have to go to the set of the hard tyres at the end of the Grand Prix, it seems very, very pointless to me. But now, as you can see on lap 4, the Mercedes actually squabbling between themselves here. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the Grand Prix, and that's going to slow down Nico Rosberg absolutely massively here. Are we going to be able to get a run up on him up towards turn 5 and turn 6 here? We're actually going to try and maximise our run through the corner, 5th gear, try and get the power as early as we can, run a little bit wide, but we make a rash dive bomb up the inside into turn 7 there, guys, and we move up into P2 of the Grand Prix now, right behind Lewis Hamilton. Nico Rosberg obviously struggling on his set of soft tyres here, but at the moment we're actually doing very, very well on them. As you can now see on the end of lap 5 here, coming into the pit lane here, absolutely nailing the pit entrance there, right behind Lewis Hamilton at this point. Daniel Ricciardo goes purple there, so, you know, he's kind of hoping, you know, he can go for the undercut, and I'm kind of hoping, you know, as Toro Rosso and Red Bull, that he can do it as well. But you can now see we're actually able to change the front wing. They're not really too sure why the team decided that. We only had a line green damage on the front wing there, but that's held us up absolutely massively. Now behind Nico Hulkenberg and one of the Williams. I think that might be the Williams of Valtteri Bottas there, guys. So really not what we wanted to see there in that pit stop. See, coming out the pit lane now, though, obviously a chance to us to maximise our run at the pits. We're actually going to run a little bit wide there. Luckily, don't get any damage, but we just scrape up against the Armco there as we come out of the pit lane, guys. We're down in P20 at this moment in time, but obviously, we should be able to get some good positions up fairly quickly once again in this Grand Prix. And straight away, as soon as I say that, on lap 6, we're going to get an absolutely incredible run at one of the hairpins, go up the inside of Nico Hulkenberg into the next corner. It was actually Felipe Massa as well, I hasten to add, but up into P19, we now go on lap 6 of this Grand Prix. Obviously, we've still got a long way to go in this race, and Felipe Massa will be the next car on my hit list, but coming up towards Jung Sao now, I think that's how you say it. As you can see, we absolutely struggle to get a run out of that corner, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to challenge Felipe Massa. But now on lap 8, guys, as you can see, we're actually caught up in a bit of a train. The Renaults trying to go long in this first stint have basically held up everyone else just behind them here. As you can see, we're already up to P12 as a few drivers made their pit stops at the end of last lap. But coming up Jung Sao once again, as you can see, there's an aeroplane flying over the track. It's I Spy with my little eye with Matt here, guys. You can just see, running up towards the line there, you can just see how much of a deficit we really have on straight line speed to the likes of Felipe Massa in his Williams, and also Nico Hulkenberg behind me in his Force India. We can just see, going into turn 1, we have to take evasive action from Felipe Massa, move up the inside into turn 2 there, guys, and up the inside of the Brazilian, up into P11 now of the Grand Prix, and Sergio Perez now will be the first person in the points that we're going to be trying to get past. Just see, we've got Max Verstappen, both Ferraris, Nico Rosberg there, and also Daniel Ricciardo here, all getting held up by this Renault, so this could effectively put us in net second place of this Grand Prix as we go up the inside of both Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen. They go for a very, very late move, and we move fortunately past both of them now, guys. I think that's sort of net P5 here in this race. We got we got the Ferrari, the Red Bull, and both Mercedes still effectively ahead of me in this Grand Prix, but are we going to be able to get a very good run? Unfortunately not. Up Jung Sao once again here. Are the runners going to opt to come into the pit lane? No, they do not, but we've got the pressure from Max Verstappen right behind me, obviously, with a 2016 power unit. Is he going to be able to look up my inside? No, he can't. We can just see into Tom on how much they will get held up. We're actually going to be able to go round the outside of Sebastian Vettel. The Renaults forced each other wide there, doing a bit what Ferrari did at the very start of the Grand Prix. We're going to have a go round the outside of Nico Rosberg. Are we going to be able to make a move on Daniel Ricciardo? No, we don't. Unfortunately, he's squeezing me out there, guys. Everyone's basically trying to get past everyone here, trying to lose as little time as they can. Daniel Ricciardo dive bombs both Renaults there, guys, as we're still having a look round the outside of Nico Rosberg. Unfortunately for us, he's going to be able to hold on to the position, but we hold on into P8 here, guys. Are we going to be able to look round the outside into the next corner? Yes, we do. We hold it around the outside there. Unfortunately, he's squeezing me into the back of Kevin Magnussen there, and that means Sebastian Vettel, we're going to make contact with him as well now, guys. So everything is happening on lap 10 here, because we're trying to have a look now round the outside of Kevin Magnussen, and yes, we do move around his outside, up the inside of Sebastian Vettel there. Very unexpected move, even for myself there. And we move back up into P7 now of the Grand Prix, right behind Nico Rosberg and Jolyon Palmer. But Daniel Ricciardo has been able to already, gain about a second over Jolyon Palmer. You can just see how much time those guys were costing each other. But now moving on then to lap 11, obviously Jolyon Palmer dived into the pit lane, but now Max Verstappen is out of this Grand Prix, and that is going to reveal a safety car period to us, guys. So we're actually going to come in for a set of these soft tyres here, guys. We're going to fix the front wing as well, because the downforce was affecting us a fair bit at this stage of the Grand Prix here now. But coming into the pit lane, obviously we will be able to make a front wing change, as I said, guys. We won't actually lose that much time, but we will be right at the very back of the grid when we come out of this pit lane. Obviously the second front wing change of the day, it's not very good, it's not going very well. It kind of seems to be a bit of an issue at the moment. Obviously we saw Mexico last time out, guys. Obviously when we did make a little bit of contact with my teammate in Daniel Kvyat at the end of the race. But Sebastian Vettel there as well, guys, is now at this Grand Prix with another engine failure. So Red Bull and Ferrari really struggling for longevity in these engines in these final few races. Don't know how much they're really straining their engines, guys. But now onto lap 14, at the end of the safety car period. Are we going to be able to get a good run on Kevin Magnussen? We try and back out of it there, but unfortunately the green flag comes out right when we would have been able to time it absolutely perfectly. But we still should be able to get a very good run on him up towards turn 1. Obviously we should be able to go up the inside, Renault versus Toro Rosso, obviously against myself here. We're going to be able to look up the inside on a much fresher and newer set of tyres here, guys. And obviously on a quick set of tyres as well. Move straight back up into P17, now behind Pascal Wehrlein in P16 here. We get a good run out of the corner here. Are we going to be able to make a rash dive bomb up the inside of Pascal Wehrlein? Kevin Magnussen actually has a look back up my inside there, but thinks better of it into the next corner as we absolutely maximise our run down this short little downhill section here. ready to go back uphill, you know, towards the back of the pit lane here. Are we going to be able to go around the outside of Pascal Verlaine? We have a look around his outside and go clean straight around him there, guys. An absolutely incredible move, if I do say so myself, for P16 now in the Grand Prix. And now we're right behind my teammate of Danny Kvyat here. Again, absolutely incredible run at the hairpin there. Are we going to be able to look up the inside? Yes, we do. Up into P15 now, guys. And now we're right behind Rio Haryanto here. Are we going to be able to make a move up the inside of him, you know, through Jung Sao here? We're going to have a look up the inside there, guys. Go for a bit of a late dive bomb there, you know, just force him a little bit wide on the exit of the corner there. And we move back up into P14 now of the Grand Prix. Also going purple, yeah, in the middle sector here. But now we're right behind Felipe Nasr here. Going to try and maximise my run at the hairpin here. We're going to have a look round the outside. Max Verstappen-esque here. Are we going to be able to make the move around the outside of Felipe Nasr? We hold it side by side, and then we outbreak him into the corner. Ran hugely wide into the corner myself there, guys. But we now move up into P13 of the race. Now right behind Valtteri Bottas here. Are we going to be able to make a move up the inside where we did to one of the Manners just a couple of laps back? Yes, we do. Up into P12 we go now, guys. We go purple in the middle sector once again there. But now just following on from Esteban Gutierrez. It did quite affect our run, that move on Valtteri Bottas. But obviously we want to close in the points on him in these final couple of races of the season. Obviously every overtake we now make once we get into the points will be absolutely critical for us. As you can see, we also go purple there, guys, with 1 minute 12 there, so pretty damn good lap there. But let's just stay on board then for this final lap here. As you can see, right behind Esteban Gutierrez, you know, he's just one place outside the points here. So hoping that once we get past him that we should be able to get past whoever is just ahead of him. But you can just see how much time he does gain in this first sector. We still somehow go purple there over my last lap. But you can just see, coming through these next couple of corners, this middle sector is where we were absolutely flying in comparison to the AI here, guys. Let's just have a look then, stay on board here through these next couple of corners. Right behind Esteban Gutierrez, just see straight away, we've already gained so much time now right on his gearbox here. Marcus Ericsson is the guy up in P10, but we're going to try and have a look round the outside of Esteban Gutierrez. We're going to go for the cutback move there, guys. Move straight up his inside, and are we going to be able to make a move on the inside of Marcus Ericsson? Sorry, yes we do. And up into P10 now we go, guys, and that is really where we make so much time there through that middle sector. As you can see, we're now right behind Nico Hülkenberg, but are we going to be able to make a move up towards line? Obviously, we don't seem to get very good runs through Jung Sao there, guys. And unfortunately, with the slipstream, with the DRS as well, for Nico Hülkenberg, he's going to unfortunately be able to hold on to P9 in this Grand Prix. But Lewis Hamilton is the race winner, guys, and we all know what that means. Lewis Hamilton is the 2016 World Drivers' Champion. So there we are then, guys. Lewis Hamilton, the F1 2016 World Champion, a 4-time World Champion in his own right, ahead of Kimi Räikkönen, Nico Rosberg in that Grand Prix. Rosberg obviously would be very disappointed he wasn't able to take the title fight right at the very end there. You know, it was looking like he was closing in, but unfortunately, you know, Hamilton just gained so many points at the first half of the season. Obviously, we saw Rosberg retire at Monaco, Austria, just to name a couple there, guys. But as you can see, just having a look further down the grid, Fernando Alonso in a very, very strong 5th place there. Myself down in P10 there, but fortunately for us, we still close in on Valtteri Bottas there. But just having a look right down at the very bottom, obviously we saw Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel both retiring, you know, sort of half a lap away from each other. Max Verstappen obviously causing that safety car that forced my drive back through the field, with Sebastian Vettel retiring just under the safety car. You know, both engines blew up basically at the same time there. But just having a look as well. We've got Jolyon Palmer and Jenson Button, two of the other British drivers there. Not really having a particularly successful race. Obviously, we finished in the middle, but Lewis Hamilton there, the new F1 2016 World Drivers' Champion there. And considering after Monza, he had about a 15-20 point lead over the Ferraris, considering he's pulled out 100 points by the very end over those two drivers, it's a very, very solid day out for him. But we're just 12 points now behind Valtteri Bottas, with Jenson Button just 10 points behind me, with Felipe Massa, Nico Hülkenberg, Fernando Alonso, all still theoretically being able to jump me overall in this championship, but obviously it's highly unlikely that we will see that happen. But just having a look further down the field, but unfortunately, we've still got Kevin Magnussen, Pascal Wehrlein, and obviously Carlos Sainz without a drive. The only drivers failed to score points there. We're still up in P7 in the championship, and that is pretty much a guaranteed now in the final race of the season. Mercedes obviously wrapped up the constructors quite a while back there, guys, in the end. But Ferrari basically, they have cemented second as well, with Red Bull cementing third, and Williams basically guaranteed fourth place there as well. Might be a little bit of a change between Force India and McLaren Honda, guys. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe for more of my F1 2016 Toro Rosso career mode, guys, and I will see you next time.